You know what pianists love? Chord voicings. Man. More than anything, we dream about it when we sleep at night. It's oftentimes the first thing we might think of when we wake up. Chord voicings. Gorgeous. So today, we're going to talk chord voicings. We're going to be voicing a standard. We're going to be voicing Tadd Dameron's Lady Bird, to be more specific. You're going to want to get the PDF that's in the description because it's got all three kinds of voicings that we're working on today over Lady Bird. And we are going to work on three different chord voicing structures today. You know, as pianists, we play a lot of different roles. Kind of the first role that we all play is as a solo instrument. So we're going to need some rooted voicings for solo piano. Voicings that we can be the entire orchestra with. The second role we play is as an accompanist. We can accompany ourselves, so we're going to need some left-hand voicings to accompany our right hand when we're playing with a rhythm section. And perhaps the most important role that all pianists play is accompanying a band, right? Is being the primary accompanist for any band. And for that, we're going to need a little bit of magic. We're going to need some rootless, two-handed voicings, good old magic voicings. If you know Open Studio, it's what we're all about around here. So we're going to use all three of these voicing structures over Tadd Dameron's Lady Bird. It's going to be a blast. Let's get to it. As always, everything we do around here is sponsored by Open Studio. Go to openstudiojazz.com to go on a deeper dive for anything we do here on the YouTube channel. If you want to go on a deeper dive specifically for what we're working on today, I have a course called Jazz Chords for Beginners. If you've made it this far into this video, we're offering you a discount. Just click the link below here in the description to learn more. All right, let's get started with our rooted voicings for solo piano. So these have to have a few things. They have to have the root, right? Because we're playing rooted voicings. And we also want to use a system that we use a lot around here at Open Studio called root, shell, pretty. And that's where we structure the voicing from the bottom up: root, shell, which is the third or seven or third and seven, and then a pretty note. Now, there are some exceptions. So like our very first chord is a C6-9 chord, which we often use as a major chord on a tonic. Because there's no seventh in the chord, we're going to use the sixth as the seven. We'll build this voicing up from the bottom with the root, C, the third, E, the sixth, A, and then we'll add a pretty note. Now the pretty note is usually always either the fifth, the ninth, the 11th, or the 13th. It really depends on what kind of chord you're playing and where you are in the voicing. Here, this D, which is the ninth, it just works perfectly to support the melody. Now we can play the chords there on the bottom just by themselves, right? Or we can use this as a little etude to be able to play the melody to Lady Bird with these beautiful solo piano voicings, right? And I try to keep everything nice and tight, no tenths or anything here. But if you feel like grabbing one of these tenths down below, if you have larger hands, that could work really, really well. It's the same structure all the way through. Root, third and seven or third and six, and then a pretty note somewhere, either above the shell or in the middle of the shell. As you see here with the C, it's above. But as you see with the next chord, the F minor 7, we've got the root, the third, the 7, which is E flat, and then we put the 11, which works well on minor 7 chords, by the way. The 11 down there between the third and the 7th, right? Same thing on the B flat 7. We've got the root, the 7th, A flat, the third D, and then we put the 9th as this little cluster here. The melody is the 13th, so it's another pretty note, right? Same thing here. And you could rhythmically, you could play these wherever or however you want, depending on where your hand independence is. Please do so. So here, if we just continue on, we've got the B flat minor 7, root, 7, 3, 11. Remember, 11s work great on these minor chords. E flat 7, root, 3, 7, 9, right? Are you seeing a pattern here? It's always root, 3, 7, or root, 7, 3. The A flat major 7, root, 7, 3, 5. Could do 13. That also sounds good. I didn't, because here in the second bar of the A flat major 7, I have our 7 chord go down to the 6th, a little movement there. The A minor 7, root, 7, 3, 5. Again, the D7, root, 3, 7, 9. Beautiful. Now I'm playing the melody with these two fingers, with my 5th and fourth fingers on my right hand. This gets us what we call the 3-zone concept, where we have the root down here on the bottom of our left hand, the melody up here at the top of our right hand, and the chord is in the middle hand, which are like these 6 fingers between our left and our right hand. The D minor 7 is kind of just a little fun, little so what voicing. D, G, C, F, A. Still has the root, the 7th, the 3rd, but it has the 11th down here and the 5th up there. The structure of it is just the chords from so what. Again, on the G7, root 7, 3. I have the 9 tucked in there under the 3. This sounds great. C major 7. This is the series here of major 7 chords. Gorgeous. Let's give it a shot. I've got my trusty metronome. We're not going to take it very fast here. Because these are rooted voicings, I'm just going to play the melody. You can play along with me, or you can just play the chords. But either way, let's take it slow. Let's do 2 choruses in a row. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Try it again. I'll do a little bass line this time. So these rooted voicings are so essential. You can do this with any tune. Go through your repertoire and see if you have these, right? If you can play the melody with the 4th and 5th finger, play the root down here with your left, and try some root shell pretty, right? Root, 3rd, 7th, or 3rd and 6th, and then 1. I have 1 pretty note for all of these chords. There's just 1. It's either the 5th, the 9th, the 11th, or the 13th, and depending on the chord. And it makes such a huge difference in our solo piano playing. And then you can really start to work on some hand independence and some rhythm. But if you don't have the basic structure of these, chances are you're getting stuck with some pretty corny sounding voicing. So try this structure. It's really, really fun. It's really, really easy. All right, let's check out our rootless left-hand voicings. We want to use these when we're playing with a bass player, mostly within a rhythm section, when it's our turn to solo, if we are playing the melody in a trio or a duo, even if we're doing duo with a guitarist or another pianist and they're playing the root. These are super helpful. And we don't have to make a big thing of these. I have some kind of modernish sound, modern in many quotes, modernish sounding voicings here, built off of fourths and with clusters. So if the voicing isn't built off a fourth, it has a cluster in it. And this gets us a lot of cool tension here on Lady Bird. So the first voicing I have is a 6/9 voicing, and it really contains some of the most essential parts of a C6/9 chord. I'm going to play the root with my left hand and let you hear the voicing over it with my right, but you know, the root is C, and so in the chord itself, it's rootless, so we don't want a C in our voicing. So we have the 3rd, the 6th, and the 9. Isn't that beautiful? And you might notice these are just perfect fourths. Anytime you have a major chord like this, you can build from the 3rd of the chord, in this case E, up in perfect fourths, and you're going to get one of these beautiful 6/9 voicings, and they're just gorgeous. So pretty. And it's in a perfect place here for the melody as well. The G on top. Our F minor 7, we're going to do the 7th and the 3rd A flat. So the 7th is E flat, the 3rd is A flat, and then I'm going to add 2 pretty notes, right? These are the essential. These are the guide tones. These are the shells, right? The 7th and the 3rd, and then we'll add the pretty notes of the 9, which is G, and the 5, which is C. Notice the cluster there. Now for the B flat 7, check this out. Only one note moves. The E flat moves down to D, right? Because the 3rd and 7 in F minor 7, A flat and D flat, that 3rd of F minor is also the 7th of B flat 7. So the guide tones, only the 7th of F minor moves down a half step, so it becomes the 3rd of B flat, right? So crucial. So much fun. So we can keep the pretty notes the same as well. In B flat, that G is the 13 and the C is the 9. Back to our C6-9 voicing there on the 2nd line. And we're going to do the exact same cluster up. You might have to let it go as you get that melody down in the mix there. That's totally cool. You know what I mean? If you're soloing, you can work around it. Or you can just play partial. Play the lowest note. That's cool too. And it's the same kind of thing. This is actually the same voicing that we did for F minor 7 to B flat 7, just up a 4th. That same cluster in the middle. Right? So here's F minor 7 to B flat 7. B flat minor 7 to E flat 7. Same voicing, just transposed up. A flat major. Another perfect 4th voicing, this time built off of the 7th. That's right. So you can build major voicings in perfect 4ths based off of the 3rd like we did in C, E, A, D, or based off of the 7th like we're doing in A flat, G, C, F. They both sound great. Anytime you're looking for a 3-note 4th voicing on a major chord, look for the 3rd or the 7th, play some perfect 4ths, and you're almost always going to be good to go there. We have another cluster voicing with the 7th on the bottom on the A minor 7. Same thing as the F minor 7 and the B flat minor 7. In fact, this is just a half step down from the B flat minor 7 and E flat. Same voicing. And again, just one note moves between the A minor 7 and the D7. The D minor 7 in the last line is super fun. I've got the 3rd F, the 7th C. We want to make sure that we get those in there. I have 2 pretty notes, the 9, which is E, and the 11, which is G. It's a very common shape. Notice the major 2nd cluster down here at the bottom. Notice that we have a C triad over an F. So beautiful. Now for the G7, there's not a lot of room down here for our rootless voicing, so I literally just have the 7th, the 3rd, and the 9, right? And then our series of major 7 chords. These could be dominant chords. You could do whatever you want with this series as far as I'm concerned. I'm making a little pattern here. So we have our major chord built off the 3rd, but the E flat 7, there's no 7th or 3rd in here, but I'm just kind of making a pattern. This is all diatonic in E flat. I've got the root, the 5th, and the 9. And then the A flat major built off the 7th in perfect 4ths. Going back to that F, B flat, E flat like we played over the E flat major 7 chord for the D flat major 7 chord, but it's the 3rd built in perfect 4ths, right? Kind of treated in a different way. Let's try these voicings. I'll use the metronome. I'll play a bass line. You have the melody and the chord voicings. 2 choruses. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Have another. Aren't those great? So useful. Even if you get nothing else, get that you can build these major chords in perfect fourths because it's just so much fun. For our last voicing structure, we are going to use rootless comping voicings. We're going to use magic voicings. This is something that we love to talk about here at Open Studio. We got a ton on magic voicings here on our YouTube channel. We, of course, have the magic voicing system course over at openstudiojazz.com. These voicings are great when you're playing with a band, when you're playing with a rhythm section and maybe there's a horn player or a vocalist or a big band or an orchestra, and you don't need to play the roots per se. You want some high sounding voicings. You know, this system is developed so that there's not a lot of repeated notes ever. So you get really crisp voicings that kind of cut through in some of the upper structures. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole magic voicing system, but it is based off of the pentatonic scale here. So our C6-9 voicing is really just every single note of a C major pentatonic scale, right? C, D, E, G, and A, spaced out, skipping a note. C, D, E, G, and A, right? And then we can just move those around. So our first C major 6-9 voicing is this, right? Our second is just moving all of those down in the C major pentatonic scale, right? Isn't that cool? Also, that's another so what voicing there. Our F minor 7, it's based off of the A flat major pentatonic scale. Our B flat 7 is this beautiful fourths voicing here, Mantoothean even, you might say. Back to our C6-9, same voicing that we left on. We're going to go down another scale tone of the C major pentatonic scale. Right? This is still just the C major pentatonic scale, this voicing. It's C, D, E, G, and A. Those 5 notes. B flat minor 7, which is the D flat major pentatonic scale. Oh, you're going to love this. A voicing I ripped off from Peter Martin. E flat 7, sharp 11, flat 9. I've got my third, I've got my 7th, I've got my flat 9, I've got my sharp 11, I've got my 13, and I got the root on top. Listen to the B flat minor 7 to the E flat 7. Come on. Our A flat major 7 chord, this is based off of the E flat major pentatonic scale. Take that down a chord tone for the next one. A minor 7. Notice this is the same voicing exactly as 2 of our C6-9 voicings, right? Because it's still just that C major pentatonic scale for the A minor 7, relative minor. D7 here, third, 7, 9, 5, root. D minor 7, this is the F major F major pentatonic scale. G7, which is another flat 9, sharp 11, natural 13. How beautiful. So I've got the root, I've got the third, I've got the 7th, I've got the flat 9, I've got the sharp 11, I've got the 13. Gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And then our major 7 chords. Isn't that pretty? You want to try it? Here's 2 choruses. Have fun. Give it a go. You can do whatever rhythm you want. If you really want to lock in the groove, do the Red Garland rhythm. And a 4 and a 2, anticipating the chord that's about to happen like this. 2, 1, 2, 3. Just like that, right? And a 4 and a 2. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Have another one. Have another one. Have fun. Don't those sound great? Those are so much fun. So those are the three roles that we most often play, right? The role as solo pianist, the role as accompanist to ourself with our left hand, and the role as accompanist to a band with both hands. And I can't stress enough how fun this is to just take a tune and say, okay, I'm going to work on these three roles in this tune. It can be an entire day's worth of practice, just honing each one of these voicings, honing it over different chord changes, maybe taking it to a few different keys so that you're kind of locking them in. Remember, taking it through keys really helps it to lock it in the original key because you see it from different perspectives. I hope you had fun with this. Again, thank you for joining me here. I'll be back pretty soon. Until then, happy practicing.